Hello and welcome to the Nobodies Watching Wrestling podcast. It's our monthly podcast, which is, in theory at least, bigger than the other podcasts. We'll see how well we do with that. I'm Ariel Italic.
I'm having a bad day, but making it work.
And we're here with our special guest, Darnell Mitchell, who is the producer of Uncanny Attractions. It's a show, we're going to be doing a show with them on October 30th. I was going to say 31st, and I'm like, that's Halloween. It's wrong. We're doing a show on October 30th. It's going to be amazing, and we're going to talk all about it and all about Uncanny Attractions in general right now. Lady Berica couldn't be here because she came down with a case of not being here.
We're also, I think we can announce this, right? We're doing a Rocky Horror Show the night before that.
Oh, I think we can announce that.
Yeah.
That seems to be legitimately happening.
Yeah. We have a venue and they said, yes, do it.
So October 29th at Venus and Furs in Bushwick, we're going to be doing a screening. It's a screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Ew, gross.
It's a screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, followed by Rocky Horror related performances from me, Berica, Effie, and
some drag queens we're going to pay, but we haven't decided which ones.
We're going to book somebody or other.
Like probably some like very spooky children.
Yeah, maybe some burlesque in there. We're going to work on that. It's not guaranteed.
We're not 100% sure what Effie's doing, but he'll be in gold spandex. I made sure of it.
Well, that's all I need. That's why I'm being there.
I mean, that's probably why most of the people who will end up there will be there.
Okay. Well, enough about us. Darnell, let's talk about you.
Oh my God. Also, by the way, I've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show.
You're missing like a lot of, like many LGBTQ people in pro wrestling, you're missing just like a lot of really important cultural touchstones.
I really am. I'm like the worst gay. I don't know a fucking... Oh, can I cuss on this?
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, okay. I don't know any musicals. I just know Little Shop of Horrors.
That's the only one I know,
like,
other than Rocky.
The Greatest Showman, which I love that movie. And it's really bad that I love that movie.
That shit sucks.
Oh, the movie's awful, but the soundtrack is unbelievable.
No way. You also like... You didn't know something else the other day that I was like, what is wrong with you? I don't know.
Plethora of
yeah.
things.
This came up when me and Billy Dixon were tweeting about who in wrestling has walked before. And I was like stunned that Sunny never had, potentially.
Oh, yeah, that's surprising.
What?
Like,
yeah, Sunny apparently just like, Billy was just like, I'm pretty sure no.
Huh.
The only two people in pro wrestling who have walked in a ball are Candy and Billy. That's it.
So that means that at the next Uncanny Attractions show, we need to make that happen, right?
We need to get
you to walk in a ball.
No. I think it would require like a lot of outreach to a lot of different people, but yeah, that would be really cool.
That would be really, really cool.
If we reached out to the right ballroom people and we were like, we'll have a ring and you could do a whole ball in a ring and like some wrestlers will try and walk and they'll probably get chopped immediately.
It'd be perfect though. Wrestling is drag, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm about this. I love this. So since we're talking about the kind of shows that you book, let's start talking about Uncanny Attractions and what you do and sort of what you contribute to the wrestling world.
So Uncanny Attractions, it is the brainchild of NV Young. I love that kid. He's annoying, but I love him. And he thought of the concept of this kind of queer, all-inclusive show in Brooklyn. He met Lynn, who's one of our other producers. She's actually the original producer of Coachella, so she's like...
Whoa.
Yeah. Did you not know that?
No.
Like, it's fucking annoying. She's like owns her apartment. She's like an adult. Like, but she's like super talented. She has her own business. And she heard MV being super excited about it. And she was like, yeah, let me throw you guys money and let me be involved in wrestling. And I've never done it before. So MV asked me to join in. And we the thought process is, you know, how many wrestling promoters can you think of where there's 3 wrestling promoters? One is a queer woman, as a promoter, a bisexual male wrestler, and a queer person of color. And
it's quite a trio, huh?
It really is. And I think one of the things that really helps us out a lot is that MV comes from the wrestling world, but myself and Lynn do not.
Right.
So we have different thought processes about how things should work and how we cater to new people, but we just kind of wanted this to be. I like the word all-inclusive, but I don't like the word all-inclusive. We're
Very
gay.
buzzy.
We're
Very
queer.
buzzy.
We're queer. We're a queer
Yeah.
wrestling show.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I want this show to represent what America is, and that's, you know, LGBTQ plus. Say that 5 times fast. People, black people, people of color, women, and I think I think wrestling needs that as much as humanly possible. The more wrestling companies that do that, the better.
Side note, isn't it interesting how gay has kind of become like back in vogue to describe large swaths of the LGBTQ community?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I try
Do you know
to
what I
say
mean?
queer.
Are we doing gay again?
Like I feel like you just said like it's a gay wrestling show, and I was like, that's cool though. Like that's better than it's a queer wrestling show. Even though you will book people from all parts of the
course.
LGBTQ spectrum, it's still just like it's gay though. This is just gay shit. It's kind of like they're all just gonna call us gay anyway.
Yeah, I do feel like, I guess, gay is coming into where queer used, because people are like, there's always been like a weird divisiveness about the word queer, because like the old queers found it to be too much of a slur.
But now the young ones don't even like it.
Yeah, and so I guess we're going back to, we're like, there's like an upswing in gay again.
It's confusing.
I think the thing about gay that's also really important too is that, like, for example, our WrestleMania show, we were booked against the fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right.
And Lynn was like, you know, will we sell? I was like, you know what? The people who are going to New Japan Pro Wrestling ain't going to this gay shit.
Right.
And like, that's okay. So like, let's be as gay as humanly possible.
Well,
And
we were
that's
talking
what we
about
wanna
this.
do.
We were talking about this right before we started, where it's like the venue's kind of a dream come true too, because most of the people there aren't wrestling fans, and it's like so amazing and refreshing to watch people who aren't so jaded and who don't know like what they're looking at. Even they're just love every second of it.
I agree. It's the idea of like, you know, Tom is going to come to every fucking wrestling show. Sorry, I curse a lot, and
It's
I
fine.
apologize.
Please.
No.
Tom comes to every show, and that's great that Tom comes to every show. But I want like Tamika, who has no idea what
Right.
the fucking arm drag is, to
Right.
come to our show.
Right.
And I think that one of the faults in a lot of wrestling companies in 2019 is that like everyone wants to pop the boys in the back, and everyone wants to like cater to the wrestling fan. And I feel like if you just put on a really entertaining show and you have a party and like entertainment, like most of our matches don't go longer than 11 minutes.
Yeah, I was gonna say 12 is probably the max.
Yeah, it's like, look, you're in and you're out. Here's some drag, here's some fun, have some drinks, and let's have a party, and let's go do some karaoke afterwards.
Right.
And that appeals to the average person who just wants to go out and have fun, because wrestling is fun.
Wrestling is fun. How do you keep injecting that fun into the shows that you book? What do you bring to this that as a producer to like ensure that the fun is had?
A lot of it is, you know, I'm on Twitter way too much.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Like,
bitch,
eventually my
same.
job's going to be like, how the fuck do you have these many tweets? But, you know, I try to, like, listen to what people are saying. You know, while I love Twitter and I love people on Twitter, some people don't necessarily have the best thought process when it comes to certain things. So you can't listen to everyone. But I try to look to what people are looking for fun, what wrestlers are fun for people, and I try to like bring them into the fold. I think we do a really good job of like every single show, we make the conscious effort to sit down for at least an hour and talk about the problems with the previous show and what we need to do to improve it.
Right.
I remember our first show, we were very mad but happy that Shimmer, Shine, and someone else was running that
Right, I
weekend.
remember that.
So we had like 2 women.
Yeah.
And we made a conscious effort for our next show to be like, all right, we want more women.
Right.
That has to be a point. You know,
Yeah.
this show, we made a conscious effort to be like, we need more people of color. You know, we're thinking to ourselves, we need more non-binary people. We need more like disabled people. We need more of everything, because we want to make sure that every single person that comes to our show can kind of see themselves in someone in that ring.
What is like, this is like what I always like, this is my new like thing that I'm sort of obsessed with.
Ooh.
Like, so I'm getting the political ideology, but what's the aesthetic?
Elaborate on that question.
Like,
sir.
what's it look like? You know, like, what is it like? Give me, like, what movie are we in? What are, like, the visual references? Like, what are, like, how's it look? You know?
Well, I guess it changes on each show. We kind of have oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Look at that. I actually know the answer. It changes on each show. Our last show, we did a very kind of Alice in Wonderland as Haggerty was wearing his, like, cute little jaunty hat aesthetic. This show is very Halloween inspired. It's a lot of, like, Nightmare Before Elm Street and so forth and so forth. We just kind of, like, go for a theme and try to have the wrestlers emulate that as much as possible without breaking their bank and breaking our bank. But we want everything to kind of just be like, as Mariah Carey would say, a moment.
Seasonal fun.
What are some of the things that our fans can look forward to at the October 30th show?
Oh yeah, give me, like, we have the whole card, right?
We have announced every match but the final match, but I guess I'm going to announce the final match this weekend, so I'll announce it on this show.
Wait.
Oh, we are getting an exclusive.
I know. So the card, October 30th, of course, at the House of Yes. Nightmare on Wyckoff Avenue. I came up with that. Also, shout out to a shout out to Lauren Moran, who does our artwork.
I love the poster.
Thank you so much.
It looks good. It's very much my brand, so I feel really good about that.
She, if you don't know who she is, if you've probably seen those amazing pictures of Becky Lynch bleeding, from the face, she actually did those posters because she's incredibly talented. She might be working for other companies because we were her first wrestling company, and I want her to make as much money as possible.
Hell yeah.
So shout out to Lauren. But we are going to be at the House of Yes October 30th. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 6:30. The main event is Harlow versus Effie.
Yeah.
Oh, hell
I believe they were supposed to wrestle each other at Nova Pro, but we all know what happened there.
Oh.
And that never came to fruition. So this is the first time they're ever wrestling. We also have...
That's so good because it's like two people who have pledged allegiance to different demons.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like literally they will both be possessed during the fight by the respective demons who are battling for power.
I'm super excited about that match. It was supposed to be something else, and we were like, no, this needs to be this match. This has to be this match.
Harlow's gonna punch Effie in the neck so hard. She probably has one of the stiffest punches I've ever seen.
She also has one of the best entrances in wrestling.
I love her.
So her and House of Yes with all those lights just coming out with that cape.
The full fantasy.
It's unbelievable.
And she's always beat for the gods, and she always has like a fucking nail on.
She's stunning.
Yeah.
She's our queen to be, coming to America. She's amazing. We also have, what else did I announce? It's the Bronx Bodega Brawl match. Billy Dixon versus Ariella Nix, which I'm very excited about. I hope someone gets slapped in the face with a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Hell yeah.
We have what I call our special attraction match because it's our straight person match. It's the Ugly Ducklings versus Main State Posse and CPA. Who we love CPA here.
Obsessed.
Yes.
Obsessed. I'm obsessed with CPA.
Obsessed. I love you. He's amazing. One of my
CPA was
favorite
the
people.
most. Me and CPA sat and we were both very tired after Battle Club and watched the entire GoPro show and just gave like full Muppets in the old man Muppets criticizing everything the whole
Statler and
time.
Waldorf.
Yeah, but like under our breath so
How
no
do
one
you
could hear.
know that? That's such a...
Because I'm an old gay.
Anyway, moving on. We love CPA. What's the next match?
Love you so much, CPA. The next match is a triple threat
I also
match.
love MSP. Anyway, sorry.
Oh my God.
They're so cute.
Can I tell you a little side story about Danny?
Please.
Fine.
Danny and I text each other all the time, and once I was really messed up, and I was talking to him.
Girl.
Story of my life. And I was talking to him, and he stopped talking to me. And in the morning, I was like, "Yo, I'm so sorry. I was really drunk." And his response to me was, "No, I'm so sorry because you were such in a state that you only wanted to talk to me, and it was rude of me to stop talking to you while you were in that state." And I was like, "Fuck you. You are way too nice."
They're so nice.
They're so nice and both really hot. It's really annoying.
The last time I saw them, they were talking about practicing doing splits because they were like, all the like gays can do it. Why can't I do it? And I was like, good question.
They're lovely human beings, and I like pushed very hard to get them on this show.
Love them.
So we also have a triple threat match between Alley Cat, whose ankle is a lot better.
Oh,
Thankfully.
thank God.
She is wrestling in a couple of weeks. Just like stayed at home. Alley Cat, Pinky Sanchez, and Killian McMurphy.
Ooh.
Cuties.
Very excited about that. MV Young, of course, is wrestling, and he's wrestling Funny Bone from Hood Slam.
I don't know Funny Bone.
He's funny.
That sounded shady. Do you not like him?
No, I actually like him quite a bit. He's been a very nice guy. He comes out in like a skeleton, like paint shit. But one of his looks was
like paint shit. I love that. I'm gonna say that all the time. Like paint shit.
One of his looks was like a rainbow paint going down his body. And I was
cool.
like, yo, do that gay shit for my show,
Yeah,
please.
hell yeah.
So I'm very excited about him. But he's from Hood Slam, which is also wrestling companies work with other companies because not a lot of people do it. We're working with Battle Club Pro and we're working with Hood Slam. You know, working together, it like makes things.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
It really does.
Y'all, it's like we talk about this in drag all the time because like we always want to do collaboration.
You guys
with
get
other
like
people.
shit on all the time, right?
I think it's more that we get actively ignored.
Like aggressively ignored.
Yeah.
But you guys have, every single time I've gone to anything for you guys always do very, very well when your turnout.
Thank you.
We try.
Other people don't seem to think so.
Well, I think it's because they don't come to our shows. They don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we have a solid fan base.
I would like to see like the way wrestling clubs, that's not the right word, leagues, federations support each other. I would love it if drag did more of that.
I think it's also really, really hard for, let me think of the way to say this without being shady. I think it's hard for a lot of, especially like queer companies to not, there's so little room for all of us.
Sure.
So there's a sense of, hey, I need to knock this person down to lift myself up.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the same when it comes to people of color. I think it's also the same when it comes to women. It's just like, hey, there's only one spot for us.
Yeah.
And I wish that we would realize that if we all actually work together, there's more spots for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, we've kind of found that in queer wrestling with things like we do a YouTube wrestling show. James Mansfield also does a YouTube wrestling show, but we're not in competition with the show.
We just like also love that.
We and having both of our shows helps everyone.
Yeah.
Because then people who like drag and wrestling find her show through us and our show through hers. And so it like creates a better, like it creates more space for both of us. And then for other drag wrestling shows, which seems so niche that there should only be one and there could be 10, you know?
Yeah.
It's stupid because white straight dudes get to have all of this space and there can be a million different,
there's so many,
a plethora of outlets for them, but queer people can only have one.
I got so mad on the internet the other day because I was just like I unfollowed him.
Story of my life.
Yeah, like I unfollowed him for my own sanity, but it was like just one of these like normal straight dude wrestling people that just like literally regurgitates Reddit, and I was like, you just like don't have original thoughts, like you just like are fed company propaganda, and I'm like, can't we just get better people in this?
I also think it's different for us three actually, because we actually have friends in the wrestling business.
Right, true.
And I don't think people like actually realize that, where I'm just like, no, my friend writes for NXT.
Right, yeah.
Like, so that shit, you know, why don't you go in the corner, like take a seat, and it's okay.
And I feel like I'm at the point, and probably even you, even though you're barely like as involved as me, but like still you're involved enough to like at this point where we know the gossip before the news breaks, like pretty much every single time.
Well, it's funny too because I think especially at the outset of the show, the whole conceit was that I didn't know anything about wrestling,
right?
And I think that is a fully like 2.5-year-old idea at this point, but people still come at it partially because that was my quote unquote gimmick, and partially because they underestimate me because I am a queer person in wrestling.
Right.
But like people just assume, oh, you must not know anything. I'm like, actually, I kind of know things now.
But also, like, not only do you just know things about wrestling, like, we are in it enough that we have gossip on significant people that is just not public information.
It's also the thing of, like, it's funny when I see, like, wrestling sites, and there was a interview the other day with Effie, and I forget the name of the site, but when you look at the comments, it was like, who the fuck is Effie? And I'm just like, okay, but we've been knowing who Effie is for, like, years.
Right.
Yeah.
And no one else is on us. And I'm just sort of like, well, you're actually not paying attention to independent wrestling.
Right.
and
You're just
we
not
are.
paying attention. Like, you're like, you think you're more knowledgeable, but actually we're the ones who know more than you.
So moral of the story, straight white men suck.
Yeah.
And with that, I guess I will tell the match that I am announcing.
Oh, shit.
Exclusive review.
I don't even know if I know this.
I don't think you do.
Oh. We're
about to know.
Oh, wait, no. I might have told you at
Just
GoPro.
go.
So, card subject to change, but it will be Corinne Mink and Ronnie Nicole versus Nurse Ratchet, the owner of Hood Slam, and Tara Calloway.
Shut up. I didn't know Nurse Ratchet owned Hood Slam.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
I did not know that, and I'm like obsessed with Nurse
I'm
Ratchet.
very excited. And like side note, like behind the scenes, Tara Calloway was trained by Funny Bone and Nurse Ratchet. And this is Tara Calloway's like final year wrestling. So when she reached out to me and someone had to unfortunately drop out, she was the first person I reached out to.
I love her.
She's amazing.
She's been one of my like goal interviews for a while. I don't think you know this probably, but like when I started DJing, I used to show up with a bunch of like slutty fetish nurses everywhere I went.
As you do.
Right. And so like Nurse Ratchet really hits like the place in my heart.
Like slutty like nurses like what's that movie with Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green? Party Monster style?
Kind
or
of. More like Silent Hill. More
Okay.
Silent Hill.
Honestly-
Somewhere in between the two, actually.
All right. I'm happy with either.
Some of my first drag gigs were being a nurse for
Yeah.
DJ Accident Report.
Yeah. So like Nurse Ratchet really like I saw her and I was like she's like a weird.
We need to get Shanita on the show.
Yes. Everyone
God.
needs to get
I
Shanita on
love
a show.
her so much.
Have you met her yet?
Yes, I met her. I met her at one of your shows, and then I met her at WrestleMania. She came in afterwards, and we like talked for like 10 minutes. And I was just like, I love you
She's
so
like
much.
literally my favorite person in the whole world.
Here's the thing. Everyone who's listening right now, go look up Shanita Bump.
we say this literally every episode.
SHANITABUMP. She is so good. I don't know how to explain it to you. You just need to go look her up. I swear you will be impressed, shocked, and
Disgusted.
turned on,
Yeah.
worshipful. You will.
Yeah.
I was surprisingly turned on when I saw her, and I was just like, this is not, I don't know what's happening to myself, but I'm loving all of this.
She has a carnal energy.
It definitely, but also like a dark carnal energy.
Oh yeah, no, she will fuck you to death.
She like also on top of being intimidating and sexy is literally the nicest person I've ever met in my
sweet.
life.
Oh my god!
And one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
Her Twitter is amazing.
Oh my God.
It's incredible content.
I just can't put her over enough. She needs to be on like a wrestling show.
She really does. And
She should manage like the Carnies or something, or like.
Well, it's funny that you say that because like Lynn was obsessed with the Carnies at the last show. She was like,
I'm obsessed with the Carnies.
she was like, "Who's that guy with the fat ass?" I was like, "Oh, that's Nick." But they're amazing, Trip Cassidy, and they do amazing work at Bizarro Lucha.
Yeah, so
Like,
cool.
incredible work, and also another like company that is like very like everyone
Inclusive, is- yeah.
queer people of color, women,
And the three of
intergender.
them like are like some of the most queer, like aside from like main state posse, they're just like fully like I love that gay shit. Like all of them,
They're all about
three
it.
of them.
Well, because wrestling is like I don't understand how you can be homophobic or anything in wrestling because it's like the gayest shit.
Right.
Wrestling is that gay shit.
It's
Yeah,
the gay
it
shit.
is that gay shit.
Please rub your balls on this person's
Right.
head for money. Like what
I'll
are we
never
doing?
forget Brody King telling me,
Love him.
like literally one of my favorite people in the whole fucking world. he like pulled me aside after a Battle Club show like over a year ago, and he was just like, he's like, I don't know how anyone could be homophobic in wrestling. Like every time I do a power bomb, there's a dude's dick in my mouth, and I was like, yeah. I mean, like I can't like. Yes.
Yeah.
It's literally that.
You guys are oiled up in your underwear. Like it's okay. It's fine. Join us.
It's funny too because like people don't like people can make of this what they will. Is like wrestling is gay as hell, but like when I'm watching it, I like for me it is not an erotic enjoyment.
Thank you. That's also whenever I tell anyone that I love wrestling, they're like, "Oh, it's two guys." I was like, "No, man. I really want to see how well he hits that Texas cloverleaf."
Right. Like I'm in it for the technical.
I really
shit.
am.
I'm in it for the art shit. I'm in it for the suffering. But
here's the thing, like. If I wanted porn,
I would go watch porn.
Access to porn.
There's porn.
There's porn all over the internet. Like it's just not hard. I'm not doing it I'm not 14 and my parents just got cable. Like I know how to find porn. I'm watching this because I like wrestling.
I will say, as much as I love wrestling, I don't notice their particular bodies until it's like a live show.
It's
true.
On
or
TV,
I'm like,
you don't notice?
Well, I don't pay attention to it, but like even at GoPro, I was like, damn, Austin, like you've got some thighs.
There's some like pheromone happening. It's in the air. There's like a lot of man.
But there's
sense.
a difference between like that being an incidental factor to it than to,
that
like,
being the only
I think
factor.
like when you, like I feel like when we talk to drag queens about it, they're like, "Oh, you guys just watch it because it's like horny, right?" And we're like, I mean, like, no.
I mean, it's the same as if you watch, say, The OC, you know that everyone on it is attractive.
Sure.
They were cast because they were attractive. That's like part of the deal. In the same way you watch any sporting event and you're like, these people work out for a living. They're all very fit. Like, that's just a fact of it. But of course that's not the only reason you watch it because you're not a moron. Ugh.
Right.
That's just my take.
Gay shit.
Gay shit.
But it is gay shit, and it should be. And everyone, if you don't have some gay shit around you right now, could you go find it and hold it close?
Like not wrestling topic, but I feel like we have a duty to educate like the children. Like, what gay shit are you into right now?
I was really close to claiming Untitled Goose Game as gay shit.
It's not gay shit.
It's not gay. It is anarchist shit.
Yeah, for sure.
It's adjacent. What is the gay shit? I mean, I don't know if I love this season of Dragula, but I am into it. I'm feeling the Dragula, and that's certainly gay shit. Go and, it's all...
Tell them what it is. Tell them what it is. Tell the children what it is.
So if you're not involved in this, you don't know. Dragula is a reality competition series for drag performers, not unlike RuPaul's Drag Race, but from a spookier, gorier, more disgusting underground perspective.
It's basically, in short, Drag Race for goths.
Yes, and the first 2 seasons are completely on Amazon Prime right now. The 3rd season is currently airing on Amazon Prime, so you can catch up to the 6th episode and then watch from there week by week as they release it. But it is rough around the edges because it is a new series and
it's low budget. It's punk.
Yeah, but it shows you the kind of drag that would never make it to Drag Race. Especially they're doing things like involving AFAB performers that you wouldn't see ever on Drag Race. They're a lot more inclusive in their casting. They're a lot more diverse in the challenges that they offer. And the types of drag that are out there are lower budget and more extreme and more diverse. And it's just, even when the show is like a little loosey-goosey because we're all just like figuring it out, you get something so different from the perspective of big wigs and ball gowns.
I think what's really interesting about that too, I remember having a conversation with my friend, and I love her dearly, but she's really annoying. But she loves RuPaul's Drag Race, and I remember once we were hanging out, and she was like, "Well, my drag has to be." I was like, "Girl, I've never heard you talk about drag until like the past 5 minutes." And she was like, kind of trying to like school me, and I was like, "Calm down, little cis white girl." But I think like that's really important for people to see. I think people have this idea that the only type of drag is RuPaul.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with RuPaul.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Well, there's a
great,
few things.
Mainstream, he's never been nice to me whenever I helped him. But like,
What's that tea? You telling us later.
Never very pleasant in a store. Let's just say that.
I did not know that.
Well, it's the most interesting thing doing my job as a stylist. I help a lot of celebrities, and like the majority of them are very nice.
Sure.
Some are very not nice, and it is very noticeable. Tom Hanks, very nice. Tim Gunn, very nice. RuPaul, no thank you.
Wow. That is some real tea, bitch.
I swear it's the whiskey and Coke. Coca-Cola. I want to make sure that's clear.
Yeah.
But I think people need to see stuff like that, because I think
Sure.
people have an idea that this is the only type of drag. Even on your Twitter today, didn't someone say that they were kind of flabbergasted, I will use as the word, that there were like cis women doing
I couldn't even
drag.
believe it. Like, but like I can, obviously. Like, yeah, like they were just like, well, why would a cis woman do drag? And I'm like, I don't know. Why would anyone do drag? Like, what is the difference? Like, I don't understand what you're fucking saying. Like, there have been cis women in like nightlife spaces since the beginning of nightlife. Like, they're DJs, they're drag, they're burlesque, they're like, it's like, what is wrong with you? Like,
I mean, all the people who accept Michelle Visage as a judge on Drag Race, but don't realize that she was like fully walking in balls, and that's why she's a judge.
right.
Like,
she knows more than you.
Like,
she is one of these people. Like, it's
she's
crazy.
like, Michelle Visage is a goddamn drag queen.
Right. Elvira's a drag queen. Like,
I love her.
Elvira calls it drag.
It's also like stuff like that really gets to me, because it makes me feel like older as a person when I realize that when I say that like name, people don't know who she is, and I'm just like, how young are you?
Yeah, very
It's a
strange.
letdown.
What gay shit are you into lately?
I don't know, actually. Besides like boys, well, the problem is I don't ever watch like TV, and I'm never at home, so I never.
Well,
get
you're
to
in
be involved
fashion
in gay
though,
shit.
right?
Yeah,
That's gay shit. What are you into in fashion? What's like the trend you're into?
Well, I'm actually into like more unorthodox, because I do a lot of suiting and
Yeah,
stuff, which can be really, really
talk about
boring at
it.
times. But like, I'm getting into like these more, actually very similar to what I'm wearing today. You cannot see this, but I will describe this luxurious.
Yes, we're doing
thing.
the labels
I
category
am
right now.
wearing a
Lens.
custom, because purple floral suit, and I'm really into like men and women especially, because women look amazing in suits, doing these kind of unorthodox suiting. I help a lot of like hedge fund, like financial dudes, and even they are kind of realizing they can push the envelope a little bit. So
That's some gay shit.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more custom and like allowing guys to like go a little bit above and beyond. I'm just like, you know what? Treat yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was like, I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago, Gucci did a line of like really brightly colorful floral suits.
Yeah, mhm.
And they were fucking
Beautiful.
I wanted one so badly.
You
it's
could
Gucci.
probably get it on the Chinese internet.
Maybe. I have to go look for that.
It's speaking of like even floral, like most of the guys whenever I have an appointment at my job, I guess I can say my job. I never say my job because there are crazy people on the internet, but I'm quitting. So I am Rachel Karen Green from Friends. I work at Bloomingdale's as a personal shopper.
Work.
And most of the guys that come in are like, I need a wardrobe rehaul. I always throw in some gay shit.
Yeah.
I'm always like, here's some floral, here's some pastel, and they go, I can't wear that. I go, try on everything in the fucking room. Like you never know. And every single time they go, yo, I really like this floral shirt. I'm like, of course you do,
Bitch.
because it's amazing. All right, I think I can wear this, and then it's their favorite shirt, because straight men need a little gay love sometimes.
They're just like, they don't know that they can do more.
Well, it's the first thing I say to people. I go, describe what you have. Describe what you're looking for. If you can, name me like a celebrity, like icon, fashion, and then I say, how many blue shirts do you have in your closet?
Yes, bitch.
And they all
Call them out.
They all go, oh my God. And I go, how many black, gray, and white shirts do you have? And they go, oh my God. And I go, let's get some color.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be all neutral. So.
I feel like if I were a stylist, which like I'm not, but like if I were a stylist,
But
I
you
would,
try your boots the other day.
they're just Doc Martens.
I almost pulled a like Cher Horowitz like Amber
They're just Doc
moment and
Martens.
stole your boots because they were amazing.
But like if I were a stylist, I would ask, what movie do you want to be in? Because that gives me like
that's
the
really
full,
cute.
Yeah. Take that one with you.
I will take that
rather
one
than
with
what celebrity do you want to emulate? What movie do you
The
want to
problem
be in?
is that men don't know. Women know. When I dress women, they know. And the answer is
Straight men will normally probably say
Women-
American Psycho.
The answer is always the same for women. Olivia Pope.
Oh,
It's always Olivia Pope.
fascinating.
Yeah, it's very fascinating. I'm like, well, you're not like solving any crimes, girl. So let's put you in some trousers.
Oh goodness. DJ Accent Report. What gay shit are you into right now?
So I'm super fucking into. They just put it on YouTube. I was tweeting about it because I'm a psychopath. It's called My House. It was a docuseries on ballroom culture, done by Vice. And, you know, Vice is a problem. I will not say problematic. I will say a problem.
Why is it a problem? I don't know.
There are all kinds of things. There's from like every problem you can imagine, they have a problem.
Okay.
Like, you know, one of their founders went on to be alt-right. They don't pay their freelancers. Like they're bankrupt. They're we could just keep going. There's a
Okay.
whole list of problems.
Sure.
However,
A whole lot of vices.
yeah, boop. But this series called My House it's just on YouTube now, and it was produced by Viceland, and it's just like about like it's just a 10-episode docuseries. I think it only lasted for one season, about like people in the ballroom scene now, and like just their lives, and it talks about their financial situations, it talks about their sexualities, it talks about like what ballroom's done for them, and it just shows like a lot of really beautifully edited footage from like different balls that like it's just presented with the sort of dignity that it deserves. It's incredible. I highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, I, even as like a young queer, didn't know much about the ballroom culture. And I feel like that's such an important like cultural touchstone for everyone to be aware of in terms of not just like now, but like how it informed so much of our culture without us even realizing it. So like watching things like Pose is a good sort of like first baby step into that, but like watching that series on Vice, watching Paris is Burning,
Right.
really getting to know about that culture and like just learning about the cultural contributors. Like if you love Madonna's Vogue but don't know why, now you do.
But it's also like, this is like what I get mad about is like, that shit's wrestling too, bitch. Like that shit is wrestling too, bitch. Like every single one of those ballroom girls, they can do a tope suicida. They can do like 450. Like they're doing like 18 backflips into a back handspring, like then into a dip, bitch. Like,
yes, exactly.
It's like they're just as acrobatic as any wrestler, if not more.
And I remember being in the Capitol Wrestling locker room and saying to someone, I was like, oh, have you ever seen Paris is Burning? And they were like, no. I was like, you as a wrestler have to watch it. And they were like, why? And I was like, your entire image is based off of the first 5 seconds I see you. And like, that's like a drag queen. Like they come out and I know exactly who they are. I know exactly what they mean.
Right.
And if I don't feel that when I see you, what's the point?
And the whole thing about ballroom is it's living a fantasy. Like you're showing up and you're serving a category, bitch. Like you have to adhere to the category. And like some of these wrestlers don't know what category they're fucking in. Like they don't know what they're serving.
But you said something really interesting that I think that the youth, look at us talking about the youth, need to. I didn't know a lot about my queer culture.
Yeah.
And because where do you learn that? You don't learn it in school.
No.
You might know an older like gay person or you might not. And I think that it's really important for that's why shows like Pose are super important. That's why things like Paris is Burning is on YouTube. These are outlets that people can actually have and learn a little bit about their background because we don't really get a lot of opportunities to learn about queer backgrounds.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'm from Virginia. I was born in Philly, but I was raised in Norfolk, Virginia.
Because you have like already like a Bronx accent almost.
I've been here for 12 years. I've
Well,
been here
yeah.
way too long.
But do you have any experience in the ballroom at all?
No, not at all. I wasn't even really aware of it until I want to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Interesting.
And I'm 33, and I just didn't know. And I didn't have gay friends coming up. I don't really, I didn't have a lot of gay friends. I have more gay friends or queer friends now than I have ever had in my entire life. So I am always constantly learning. Someone who actually has been very like educational for me, and it's weird because he's 3 is Billy Dixon.
Yeah, Billy knows her history.
Billy knows her history,
like
and
more than like probably I do. Not probably, actually, definitely.
and she every single day I see her online or we text each other. She tells me something new that I didn't know, and that's amazing.
And also reps all of that shit in ring.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Fully in like overalls with a pink triangle, just like serving
Banji.
up that shit.
Banji.
So if you need other gay shit, look up Billy Dixon.
We're still on topic. This is technically wrestling talk again.
Yeah, we circled back around. Also, I mean, no one started expecting that we would stay on topic the whole time because this is a Nobodies podcast.
Right. Well, this is like, this is more interesting than like the news, right?
I think so.
I don't know.
I was gonna say what got you guys interested into Uncanny Attractions?
Well, I mean, it's like what you said. It's like there's just like not a ton of wrestling companies that like legitimately treat queer people with respect.
Yeah, it was like a no-brainer. Like you find a wrestling company doing something in House of Yes.
Right.
Like it's, of course we would want to be involved with that. Like it's rare. And so it's nice to, I mean, it's becoming less rare, thank goodness.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, we want to be involved in, like you said, wrestling is much more cross-promotional and collaborative than, say, drag. And so when you see something like that pop up, you're like, oh, I want to be involved however I can. Like whenever a new queer wrestling thing happens, we want our claws in it.
And also like they're just like, as much as like wrestling is changing, which it just factually is, there is still a lot of discrimination against LGBT people. All of these companies say they're inclusive, but like they're not booking a lot of queer people. And so
they're booking a ton of queer people in June.
Right, sure. Definitely. But
no shade, all the tea.
Right. But like I have had several wrestling companies reach out to me and be like, we want you to be involved in our show. 1, we're not paying. Absolutely not. I'm not doing it. 2, like, what are your ideas? And I'm like, my idea is I want like a drag queen manager up in here. Like you're saying you want to be inclusive, like do it. And they're like, I don't think our audience will understand that. And I'm like, so like, here we go. Like, what's the tea then?
How
like,
dumb is your fucking audience?
Right.
As well?
Like,
we're not.
Do you know how many times I've pitched like, why don't during like you're gonna do an intermission, why don't you put drag numbers in the middle? And they're like, no, I don't think anyone will get it. And I'm like, I know what you're saying, but you're wrong.
Yes, we at our last show, Madam Vivian, who is the resident drag queen,
are like one of our favorite people.
Yes. She did a number. David Lawless, I love him to death, the sweetest man. Obviously it was an angle. He came out, did your "you people" type thing, and then Sunny Kiss came out and beat the crap out of him.
Sure.
And the crowd ate it up because they were just sort of like, yeah, of course. Here comes this guy beating up this guy who has this asshole views.
Right.
And like, you didn't need to know about wrestling. You didn't need to be a specific type of audience member. You were just like, oh, this feels right.
Right.
I think that's the thing that people also sort of underestimate. They're like, well, our crowd, because they haven't previously seen that, couldn't possibly enjoy it, which is something that as queer wrestling producers or even just queer wrestling people, you come to understand couldn't be true. You know that people enjoy a high quality product regardless of what it is. People who have never seen wrestling before find themselves liking it because it's good and fun. So by the same token, people who haven't seen drag, if they see a good drag number that is entertaining, will be entertained. It's not that hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And it's also think about the like juxtaposition.
And like, what's the worst that happens? They don't get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
You
okay,
already got their money.
Oh, I don't know what that was. Like, who cares?
It's the fact too that like I have to worry about what a straight person has to thinks about this queer thing when we as queer people always have to be in situations where we don't see other queer
Yeah.
people and we have to deal with it.
Yeah.
So yes, Tommy from North Carolina, you will deal with this drag queen performance and you'll get over it.
Yeah.
Seriously, I have had to worry about getting assaulted on the train to my gig so many times. You can handle my 5-minute number.
Right. And if you don't like it, that's fine. You just like will move on with your day, bitch.
And I already have your money.
Yeah. Well, we've been carrying and kikiing and twirling and dying. So
I think it's about Darnell. Before
I mostly just have to pee really bad and don't want to talk anymore.
Great, Darnell.
Ditto.
Before we let you go, do you have social media that you want to shout out?
Yes. So I have. You can follow me on Twitter. It's really annoying at Dinolicious. You can also follow Uncanny
Spell it.
Attraction. DNELLICIOUS.
You did
I had
it.
to think about it. You can also follow Uncanny_Attract on Twitter and Instagram. I also, of course, do a podcast, the Pro Wrestling Mothership Podcast, where I am one of the main hosts on it. And I do a side podcast on that called the Queer Nerd Podcast, where I have one rule. All of my guests must be queer, women, or people of color, because straight white dudes have all the fucking fun, and I don't have time for their opinions. Except I've had one straight white dude, and it was RJ City. And does he really count?
No,
He really doesn't count.
he's basically a sex worker.
He really is. And I love that man so much. So please follow us, and please come October 30th. You can see me, you can see all the wrestlers, and you can see the Nobodies, which most importantly.
Right, we'll be on that show. I think I'm DJing, right?
You are DJing,
Cool.
and Arietta and Lady Berica will be doing some really cool stuff.
We definitely will, and we definitely know what that cool stuff is. We've figured it all out because we're planning our headers. You have all of our social media information. It's all linked below. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening.
We have a
Bye-bye.
Patreon. We have a Patreon.
Oh yeah, that's a link too. Give us money.
We need it. Are we in the red right now? I don't even know.
No, I think we're fine. We're fine. Don't worry about it.
But still give us money.
Please give us money. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.